champions. Not the destination, it's the journey. Mamba out.
Alright, we are talking predictions. So on this podcast, we're looking at the playoff predictions, who we think is going to make the playoffs in the East and West. We won't hash out the details on like specifics, who's finishing where, but just who's going to make the top 8. And then we're going to talk about our awards predictions. So who we think are going to be there, who we predict will get it based on the media votes and that by the end of the year. So we're going to start with the playoff predictions. And I'm going to start in the Western Conference. Look, I'm going to assume that you guys have, well, if anyone doesn't have these teams, let me know. We've got the Lakers.
Lock them in.
Lakers. Lock them in. Mm-hmm. Clippers.
Yep.
Nuggets.
Yep.
Has to be.
Mavericks.
Yep.
Portland Trailblazers.
I have them,
Yep.
Everyone has them?
Yep.
Yep. Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
I've got them, yep. I've got them in
All
my
the
top 8.
Suns. The Warriors.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And the Jazz.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, there we go.
It's so boring.
It's a consensus.
How boring are we? So we've all got the same 8.
Yeah.
No one wanted to mix it up with the Pelicans, the Grizzlies,
No.
Rockets.
So no one said the Rockets.
No.
I think
Did
so.
you?
No, I didn't. I had them at 9, but if
Yeah.
anything, but yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to put them in there though with the rumors going around.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have at the 8th seed? Like, who do you think is the one that's just barely hanging in there?
I got Jazz.
The Jazz.
Snake
I had
through.
Utah Jazz too.
I had Utah.
Who'd you have at 8? Yeah.
It'd be between the Jazz and the Trailblazers. I had the Blazers down there.
Oh, so you had the Trailblazers, not the
Yes.
Trailblazers.
Trailblazers aren't making the playoffs.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like we're all a bit down on the Jazz. Obviously, they finished. What did they finish? 6th last year. So we had them dropping a few spots. One team that I'm interested to see you guys is where you've got them ranked. And I know we said we weren't gonna hash out the details, but since we're all in agreement, how high do you have the Suns going? Like
I think ceiling for me would be 4th seed.
Yeah.
And I could lock them in for, say, I have them as the 6th, but I think they could hit that 4th.
Yep.
Potentially.
Okay. I've got them at 6 too. How high do you guys have them?
I got them at 7.
Yeah, I got 7.
I think I'm just gonna keep it. I think they could. I mean, like I agree with you with the ceiling. They could potentially reach that 4th or 5th, but I think 7. I'm not gonna give them. I'm not gonna put them over the Blazers or Clippers or any of those other elite teams. So
Yeah.
I think top 3 is a lock.
Yeah.
It's Clippers, Nuggets, Lakers.
I think so
and then
too.
4 to 8 could, well, maybe Jazz not in that mix, but 4 to 7 could be anything really.
Yeah, I think so too. I think for me personally, I think the Trailblazers improved this off-season. They're obviously going to get back a healthy Nurkic, who in my opinion is their second best player. So I've got them pretty high. I'm expecting another step from Luka as well, so I think they're going to be up there pretty high as well. And those top 3 that you said, I think are all locks. So after that, I think it's a bit interesting. Where do you guys have the Warriors? I've got them at 7, but I'm not confident with it. I'm not loving it. Steph Curry's there.
do
So
you think they should be higher or lower?
I was flip-flopping them and the Utah Jazz for the 7th and 8th seed.
Okay.
So
I
you
got
guys-
them at 5.
Yeah?
I'm in on the Warriors. Even without Clay, I think Kelly Oubre is a great addition. I think Andrew Wiggins is going to have a lot better year, at least in terms of contributing to winning basketball.
Yep. Yeah.
Draymond's going to go back to at least close to what he was, I think.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely pick up the intensity.
Yeah.
Their bench, though, is a bit of a worry for me. Like, coming off the bench, like, who do they really have?
Well, they got James Wiseman to add as well. Second pick in.
I think he'll
they got
start, personally. I think he'll start day one. But, I mean, Kevin Looney's he's a decent player off the bench, but he's not going to change the world.
Pascal, he's not a bad player.
Young guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the loss of Klay Thompson is an not underrated, but it's a substantial loss just in terms of the spacing and the way that whole team works.
Yeah.
It completely changes the dynamic of their roster. So I'm just a little worried about the burden that Steph will have to carry on that team. But I still have them make it in, obviously. But yeah.
I got them around that 5th. I got them at 4th seed actually.
Yeah, okay.
I just think Steph Curry is just that good. He's going to be able to carry them.
It wouldn't surprise me, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just hedging my bets a bit. Where do you have them, Cal?
I had them at 7 as well. But once again, ceiling could be 4. And I just think, obviously, Lakers, Clips, Nuggets as locks for 3s. And I have no idea who's going to take this 4th seed.
Yeah.
It could be, I honestly think even the Jazz could do it today. Any of those 5 teams could snatch the 4th. Like,
It
I
would
wouldn't be
take-
surprised.
It would
by
take a
it.
huge effort from Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
to get there. But I mean, it's possible. I don't.
I just wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah.
You're disrespecting Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, really good there.
Hey,
The
I'm
$200 million man.
Yeah, he's got nothing to play for.
He's made his money.
Yeah.
Do we like that contract?
No.
I hate it.
Do it,
That's awful.
Batum, his Frenchman. This has got a big contract and then this
Yeah.
didn't really play anymore.
Yeah.
I completely understand it though, because Utah, you kind of have to do it, especially if you're a small market team. Like you just have, you're kind of boxed into that corner. Cause
Yeah, I understand.
You don't pay him, he leaves, and then all of a sudden you're
They could
rebuilding.
have traded him.
But it's
They could have traded him, and Donovan Mitchell on his rookie, so he's locked in as a protect. Like he's going to get the max from Utah, and that's not a bad contract. So Donovan Mitchell's locked in for 5 years. They could have traded Rudy Gobert, done a mini rebuild, and probably got a better piece.
but
Now they've just locked
a
themselves
mini-
into like 7th, 8th for the next 5
Yeah.
years.
They could still trade.
But a mini rebuild is still
It's
a
way
big,
harder
big
to
risk
trade
for
him now
like a
with a
Utah
$200 million
Jazz.
contract.
And I think if you've locked Rudy Gobert, even though we obviously don't rate him as a superstar or anything like that, if you have at least Rudy and then you still keep Donovan, you're going to be playing that.
You have to luck out on
You're not
getting
winning.
a rookie like a Michael
Yeah,
Porter
yeah.
Jr. at 15, 16.
Yeah.
That's like their only chance of contending now.
Yeah. Yeah, it would take some shrewd sort of decision making or smart trades or some kind of luck in the draft to make yourself get in there.
Yeah.
If we're going to pick one team to crack it into that 8 that we all have, who's our team? I'm thinking the Pelicans are an outside shot. I don't think that they will, but I would have said the Grizzlies, but Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., I think his injury is significant in the early part of the seasons. But if Zion is healthy and he's looked like a beast in the preseason, if he comes out and starts averaging like 26, 27 points a game, that's and ultra efficient too. That could be a team that I could see contending for that 8th seed, even though I don't have them quite making it. Do you guys have a different team or?
Yeah, I agree. I think if Memphis had Jaren Jackson, they'd be in the 6th, 7th spot.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree.
But yeah, I think Pelicans is probably the closest to cracking it.
Yeah.
I'll shout out the Spurs just because you can never rule out the Spurs completely, even though
I
they
will.
don't have a great. You will. Like then they could switch it up this year. They got a bit more small ball. Play LaMarcus at the 5. I don't know. Like Greg Popovich, best coach of all time, really.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe he makes a push for that 8th seed, like he did last season. Like they're still
They were
in the hunt.
4 teams like tied for 8th seed.
Yeah,
And,
they were in the
just-
hunt,
yeah.
so you can never rule them out.
Yeah,
How the Rockets?
I don't know. I just
The Rockets, yeah, where are the Rockets?
Yeah, well,
Well, the Rockets are the biggest wild card. I mean, what's James Harden doing?
Let's say James Harden stays and plays the entire season. Where do they finish?
Oh, they make the playoffs.
I think they
Yeah.
kick Utah out of the 8.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But I just don't. Well, even then, I don't know. The chemistry on that team is. Just
I think it's going to be
full out of
absolute
whack.
cancer.
Yeah.
But just so much talent, they'd still be able to.
Yeah.
Oh,
James Harden guarantees you a playoff berth. Just because
Yeah.
he plays the minutes and just he's
I
like a
don't know.
regular season
He could
machine.
check out completely.
yeah.
Like, that's why I'm just not entertaining the idea that they're going to be any good this year. In my mind, they've just dropped. Let's move on to the East. I think we'll have a bit more debate here. Okay, I'll go through the teams again. We've all got Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We've all got the Celtics.
Yeah.
We've all got Brooklyn. We've all got Philadelphia.
Yep.
We've all got the Miami Heat.
Mhm.
We've all got the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
We've all got the Wizards.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I got the Wizards.
No, we've got a no over here with Jermaine for the Wizards. And do we have Atlanta?
No.
Yeah.
I don't have. I have the Pacers in there.
And the Pacers,
Yeah.
the other
So that'll
one.
be the next team.
Does anyone have anyone that we haven't mentioned? So I think it's
I
the
got the
Wizards.
Bulls.
The Bulls.
Oh, no, dude.
Yeah, man.
Please explain that to us.
The Bulls. It's their year this year.
That defensive backcourt.
Name your 5, 6, 7, 8 then, Jermaine.
My 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Yeah.
I've got Boston at 5.
Yeah, okay. I don't hate it.
Bulls at 6. Hawks at 7.
Bulls at 6.
Bulls at 6.
Bulls at 6. I think this is going to be a big year for them.
What?
You're whacked.
What?
We heard it here first, boys.
Bulls
How?
at 6. So who are the Bulls over?
They're over the Hawks, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Oh,
They're over Brooklyn.
I got Brooklyn at 8.
You're kidding me, man.
Jesus.
Come. Oh, what?
Because I
Did you
don't.
forget who Kevin Durant is?
No, yeah. I think they're gonna be healthy if they're gonna be, and I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they're. Gonna
So
be
are
healthy.
you factoring in a bit of like missed games, injuries, and things like that?
For sure, yeah. I don't disrespect their talent. Like, yeah, they're gonna if they play a healthy
feel like-
season.
I feel like you factored in that too much into your equation.
Yeah. I think even if one of them goes down, Nets have plenty of talent.
They
to,
made the
like, make
playoffs last year. They were the 7th seed last
If
year.
they have just
Yeah.
Kyrie or just KD with like Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Joe Harris, they
Spencer
have
Dinwiddie.
great players around.
I think I'm also taking into account personality as well. I think
Personality.
these dudes are weird, man. KD, Kyrie
okay,
especially
good.
with the sage around the court, man. These guys,
They
might be
won
able-
that game.
His teammates won't be able to handle that all season, man.
I think you're well down. So you don't have the Wizards making the
No, I don't have them.
conference, the Eastern Conference.
No, I want to talk about the Bulls a bit more. I got stats in front of me right now.
Yeah,
2019 total amount of wins, 22 wins.
Yeah.
Their roster has not changed since 2019. The
Jim
2020
Boylan's a
Boylan,
Jim Boylan's a
right.
big check.
20
The head
This is
one
2
track.
full seasons. Okay, that was was it Jeff Hoiger or whatever it was before that?
Hoiberg. No, Jim Boylan had the
Jeff
full
Hoiberg.
season.
Jim Boylan was last season, which was 22 wins again.
Yeah.
So last 2 seasons, 22 wins. That win percentage is below 30%. You're saying that this year they're going to jump up, they're going to double their wins, go to like 44, and they've made like no additions. All they've got is like Kobe White's going to be Steph Curry, I guess. Is that what's happening?
No, they're all very young.
While their backcourt can't defend in Zach LaVine and Kobe White.
I think these guys are they're not bad. Kobe White and Zach LaVine is going to be an all-star.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, yeah.
You still got Markkanen as well. He's still very good. He's a good talent.
Regressed a lot last
Yeah,
year.
Well, he was injury plagued.
He was
injury
misused.
plagued.
Otto Porter Jr. as well. Still a solid. Can be a solid.
Coming
player
back
as
from
well.
like his second knee injury, he's coming off the bench now.
Yeah,
I think he'll start.
I think these dudes are going to be good.
Look,
with Billy
I-
Donovan as well. Billy Donovan as coach.
I had the Bulls as like my 9th or 10th team. I think they will improve this year just because of the addition of a decent coach over Jim Boylan. I think can't be underrated. Like Jim Boylan was a cancer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I think the East is competitive this year. I think there's some competitive teams, and I don't think the Bulls are making that big of a jump. When like the Washington Wizards are an easy lock for the playoffs to me.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook gets a team good enough to be that good.
He'll work
Like,
well with Thomas Bryant really well, and he'll work well with Beal as well. He worked with Paul George. Paul George and Bradley Beal are kind of similar players.
They can
They're
play
peaks.
off ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real good off ball. Gets his own
I
shot
think
up.
the team fits well together as well. Like
Yeah.
they've got shooters, they've got like big men that can roll to the rim with Westbrook and Beal and Westbrook. Like they're gonna put up points.
Yeah.
They've got lots of shooting on that team. So I think in the East they're like I would lock them into a playoff spot.
It'll be low. It'll be like that 7-8.
I had them at
But they should
7.
be
I had them
there.
at 7, and to me it was a clear 7, and the 8th spot I was a bit unsure of, but yeah. What about Indiana? I personally didn't have Indiana making my playoffs.
I've got Indiana.
You two both, Michael and Cal both.
I've got
sell
my-
me on Indiana. I'm historically low on Indiana, I will admit. Sell me. Are they just like not
Well,
going to be that bad?
I mean, they fired their coach, in McMillan, which is a bit. I mean, he's just one of those good kind of regular season coaches. Didn't do well in the playoffs, so we'll see what happens with the new coaching system. But in the regular season, he did a great job. It was this bunch of dudes. Like Oladipo wasn't even 100% healthy at all, and they're still putting up like high 40s in wins, which is pretty respectable.
Do you think Oladipo's coming back and being the old Oladipo?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Oladipo, but I still think it's going to be better than last year.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you got Brogdon, who was... People don't realize he was like literally going to be the front runner for the All-Star for Indiana. He went down with injury, and then they ended up giving it to Sabonis, who ended up balling as well. So you got Sabonis, who can only get better. You got Brogdon, who's still young and had an injury-plagued season last season, so he should have a better season. And on top of that, you should have Oladipo also being better. So I don't understand how you can really take them out when they literally won 48 wins or something.
They're a team that seems to just get wins.
Yeah.
They won 45 wins in the reduced
It's
season.
obviously going to change in COVID, but they do live off a really strong home crowd as well.
Yeah.
That always has helped them. But yeah, Pacers were like a flip of a coin for who was getting it out of them and Hawks for me.
Yeah. That was the two teams I was starting
It's
to
just
pick.
for me, Hawks talent wise better.
They
But
lack
they
that
brought in
experience.
a lot of players, and it's already a young team. Whether it meshes quick enough to make the playoffs,
I could easily be swayed to
Yeah.
pop the Pacers in and throw the Hawks out. I'm leaning a little bit more on like youth in terms of this season because of the COVID situation and potentially players being in and out. I think they've got a deep roster where it counts in terms of they've got a good 3-man rotation with I really like Okongwu as a rookie, and I think him, Capella, and Collins make a good 3-man rotation through the centers there. They've got depth at guard with Rondo and Dunn coming in. And then like they've got a bunch of wings who just sort of are like the same player, like times 4 with like Bogdanovic, Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, all those sort of guys, and Gallinari, who I might even mention later on in our awards, I think will be big for them. So I'm leaning on the youth a little bit, but I could easily be flipped.
I think it's just an incredibly deep team.
Yeah.
So if any kind of like the COVID stuff comes out, they're the one team I actually have the most confidence in terms of like injuries or whatever, because they're like literally 10 deep.
Yeah.
And even 12 deep.
They're too deep at every position.
Their rosters, So.
And they've got a star in Trae Young. Like he's going to enter his third year. Like he's going to take that next step. Look, he put up huge stats last year. I think he's going to be better at winning this year.
I think they'll reel him in terms of usage.
I think so. And I think that will translate better to winning.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the other team that was most of the other teams that we had? What do we think about the Nets? You didn't have the Nets in there.
I had them at 8.
Yeah. See, I had
upset in the first round.
Yeah, I had the Nets really high. I just think the addition of Kevin Durant is just.
What's really high?
I had him at the 2 seed.
Ooh.
I just think that
Steve Nash, coach of the year.
I think
it's all just gonna.
Well, I think the Celtics.
Well
I think the Celtics we got worse.
Yeah.
I think the 76ers improved, but not enough to get that high. I just think the Nets are the most interesting team. Look, they could be lower in terms of injuries and games played, but they did, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie complement each other so well. Just because they can play off the ball. Like they're not like Westbrooks or James Harden type players where they need it in their hand for the entire shot clock. They can pass the ball around. Obviously, Durant's playing the Warriors system, so he's able to be selfless. And I love their coaching staff. Like I think Steve Nash is first year head coach, but he's surrounded himself with like some good quality experienced coaches. So look, it's injury permitting, but I think they're the biggest challenger personally for that spot in the East.
I agree. I reckon their ceiling would be the 3.
The ceiling,
I think you're looking like kind of best case scenario. I've got them locked in for the 5 here.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be one of those teams where like some nights you watch them and you're just going to be like, this team is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Like when it's clicking with Kevin Durant and Curry, you'd be like, how can anyone beat these guys? But on the defensive end, and in the regular season, you can lose some games. If it's just not going to click for them some games, you might find that they'll just give up a few losses. So that's why I think the 5th. But in the playoffs, I think they could definitely be a problem. You do not want to run into these guys in the first.